Let me just tell you what's going on here. If you're a Democrat and you're part of the left-wing Eileen Caucus of the Corn, and you came in here to basically turn this state into some kind of a socialist crucible or a petri dish or whatever it is that some of these whacks came in to do, and you want to defund cops and strip police of qualified immunity, you certainly don't want to do that in the light of day. And you certainly don't want to do it with people around. And the third thing you don't want to do it is in the middle of Richmond, which you've got protests going on right and left. Obviously, you don't want to do that. So what do? You Zoom it. So rather than, they could have went home today, your last night at 8 o'clock p.m. or whatever, and reconvene on Sunday, have the vote, and go back. But no, they don't do that. So they just trample on the rules, trample on them, and now they do Zoom, and there's no transparency. There's nobody. They're conducting business not even there. Yet they voted themselves to $210 per diem. Now, each delegate and senator gets $210 a day from you, the taxpayer in Virginia, per diem. That's for traveling. That's for meals, travel, hotel. You get $210 a day for yourself and your staff members. So if you have a legislative aid or whatever, you get $210 a day. Now, the $210 a day is meant to pay for per diem. That's, meals and things of that nature. Well, or hotel. If you're at home in your pajamas, why do you need a per diem? You don't need one. Yet they vote themselves a per diem. So that's just income. So if they have 20 days of a special session, they pocket $2,100 for doing nothing but sitting there on a Zoom call. But that's per diem. That's what their job. They get paid for. They get paid $17,000. Hey, if you don't want to do the job, don't do it. I don't care. Lots of other people would like to do it. We have a lot of battles, both internally and externally, for House of Delegates member. We get a lot of battles for those primaries, conventions, knock people out like Chris Peace. We got lots of battles. Elections, don't do it. Unbelievable. I mean, I tell you what, I came here and they tell me about the Virginia way and all this Virginia this and Virginia that, 400 years and the greatest democracy ever, the oldest democracy, and all the stuff they tell me about. And boy, that's all gone out the window. I mean, you might as well be New York City as far as I'm concerned here. But the other reason they didn't want to be here, they wanted to get out of town, it was because they didn't want to face the protesters, the mobs, the destruction, the rioting, the looting, the burning, the windows, the F word all over everything. They don't want to face that. They don't want reporters taking pictures of it. I mean, you really got to get this. This is why they left town. They don't want to face the world they created. Can you imagine that? Oh, let us go back to Fairfax and Arlington and Falls Church and all our little Northern Virginia suburbs with our gated communities. Let's all go back there. Let's go back to Norfolk. Let's go back to wherever. Let's go back to Southern Virginia. Let's go back to Danville. Let's just get the hell out of here, because we certainly can't be passing things like qualified immunity and stripping police and defunding cops and reimagining social engineering law enforcement in Virginia when, in order to go to work, you have to walk by riots, looting, mobs, windows smashed, cardboard all strewn about, plywood all over with the F word every 8 feet. F this, F that, F12. I don't even know what that means, F12. What does that mean? F this, F that. That's all that's downtown Richmond, glass strewn all over. Of course, they don't want to stay down there either because of the mob, so they have to stay out of town. So they have to stay in the suburbs. So they can't stay there because if they stay at the Omni, mob come by and breaks windows, so they fear for their safety. So they get out of town, but they still get paid. This has got to be one of the most unbelievable power grabs I've ever seen. And feckless and cowardly, and that's what Caucus of the Corn is. They're a bunch of feckless, coward weasels. Because they left town because they don't want to deal with the reality in Richmond due to the policies that they created, nor do they want the press there. Speaking of the press, go to thevirginiastar.com, our new newspaper. It's getting there. Wayne and Glen Allen says F1, F2 means down with the First Amendment and down with the Second Amendment. Nice. F1, F2, F cops, F this, F that. This is why they left. They left town because they don't want to face Richmond, the reality of the city that the Democrats created. The city of LeVar Stoney. Riots, looting, garbage, destruction, burning, people scared to death, Monument Avenue moving down. They don't want to deal with Stoney's now $1.8 million investigation. I'm going to get into that a little bit later today. They don't want to deal with any of that. So what do? They skirt all the rules and get out of town. And now they'll do Zoom in their pajamas. Nice. This is the Democrats you elected. Maybe Vexit is not a bad idea. Maybe we ought to call Jim Justice, Governor Justice, in West Virginia. Maybe that's not such a bad idea, Vexit. Maybe I'm for that. If he would take Chesapeake, I'm in. Otherwise, I'm out because I don't want to be the only one. I don't want to be stuck with these people. Unbelievable. Let me give you the statement yesterday from Todd Gilbert. But by the way, we asked Gilbert on the show. It's really frustrating to deal with the House caucus on the Republican side. I mean, it's just, Garen Shipley is there, I guess, as chief of staff or communications director. I could never get a call back. It's very frustrating. Nothing like Kirk Cox or Bill Howe. You call their office, I'd get a response immediately. But it is what it is. Anyway, here's Todd's statement. I guess he was too busy today also. He said, today was a dark day for the House of Delegates. The Democratic majority abandoned 400 years of tradition and rule of law so that they could avoid public scrutiny of their first far left-wing agenda and demanded a $210 travel allowance to do so from the comfort of their couches. Nice. Nice, Eileen. Eileen Fillercorn, Speaker of the House, Caucus of the Corn. He went on to say, with a single vote, they declared that they have no need to meet in public. They have no desire to receive public input. They have no intention of changing that practice anytime soon. Our Constitution deserved to have the business of the House done in public. They deserve the right to be heard in committee hearings. Worse, both the Speaker and the Majority Leader told the press that this has been worked out ahead of time between the Republicans and the Democrats. Lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire, Eileen. That is false. But sadly, this is what we kind of expect. So the other thing you got going on here now is, look, the Democrats taking advantage of the coronavirus. The press is taking advantage. They're all taking advantage of it. I told you before, the White House Correspondents Association, which is a totally corrupt organization to the core, led by Jonathan the Communist Carl, they're totally corrupt. Here's what they do. They oust all press hard pass holders that don't have an assigned seat, which is the only people like me that went in there and asked the president or the press secretary a legitimate question. So because of COVID, they say, oh, sorry, you can only come here with an assigned seat, and oh, sorry, we can only fill 25% of the assigned seats because of COVID, so you can't come anymore. Sorry, I have a hard pass that I've earned over a long period of time. Sorry, you don't have an assigned seat. You're not big enough. Sorry, out. Virginia Star tries to go in and cover it. Guess what they say? Sorry, we can only have 8 people. Your guys aren't big enough. I'm like, well, this is the John Fredericks show. I got the biggest show in Richmond. Sorry, only approved press that we like. Sorry. Let's see. We're going to have the Richmond Dispatch. We're going to have the Mercury. And we're going to have all our friends. And then we can tell them lies, and they'll print it. So it's not like before where all press got in, and you had to deal with it. Now they can just select. They're lackeys. That's why I started the VirginiaStar.com. Go to the VirginiaStar.com. Look, it's going to take us a while to get there, but it's pretty good right now. But it's only going to get better. But this is why I started it here in Virginia, based in Richmond. This is why we have the Virginia Star. Go to thevirginiastar.com. Sign up for the alert. Send us a donation. Try to get sales. You want to advertise? Send me a text, 757-692-1710. This thing is self-funded by advertisers. It's not funded by Michael Bills and Charlottesville Democratic pay-to-play operative. It's not funded by whack left. See, you can be whack left and you can get like General Mills to support you because they think they're currying favor. And then you're not going to do bad social media memes about them or something. this is really where media has gone today is incredible. But you go back to what the Caucus of the Corn did. And Nick Freitas was on yesterday along with Saxman. They blasted this thing and said, they never heard of such a thing.